On this January 3rd, 2024, the reading is Genesis 2, the second chapter of Genesis in the King James, the Amplified, and the New Living Translation. Genesis 2. Thus the heavens and the earth were finished, and all the host of them. And on the seventh day, Yah ended his work which he had made, and he rested on the seventh day from all his work which he had made. And Yah blessed the seventh day and sanctified it, because that in it he had rested from all his work which Yah created and made. And Yah blessed the seventh day and sanctified it, because in it he had rested from all the work which Yah created and made. These are the generations of the heavens and of the earth when they were created, in the day that the Adonai Yah made the earth and the heavens, and every plant of the field before it was in the earth, and every herb of the field before it grew. For Adonai Elohim had not caused it to rain upon the earth, and there was not a man to till the ground. But there went up a mist from the earth and watered the whole face of the ground. And Adonai Elohim formed man from the dust of the ground and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living soul. And Adonai Elohim planted a garden eastward in Eden, and there he put the man whom he had formed. And out of the ground made Adonai Elohim to grow every tree that is pleasant to the sight and is good for food. The tree of life also in the midst of the garden, and the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. And a river went out of Eden to water the garden, and from thence it was parted and became into four heads. The name of the first is Pison, that is it which compasseth the whole land of Havilah, where there is gold. And the gold of that land is good, and there is bdellium and onyx stone. And the name of the second river is Gihon. The same is it that compasseth the land of Ethiopia. And the name of the third river is Hiddekel. That is it which goeth toward the east of Assyria. And the fourth river is Euphrates. And Adonai Elohim took the man and put him into the Garden of Eden to dress it and to keep it. And Adonai Elohim commanded the man, saying, of every tree of the garden thou mayest freely eat, but of the tree of knowledge of good and evil thou shalt not eat of it. For in the day that thou eatest thereof, thou shalt surely die. And Adonai Elohim said, it is not good that man should be alone. I will make him an helpmeet for him. And out of the ground Adonai Elohim formed every beast of the field and every fowl of the air, and brought them unto Adam to see what he would call them. And whatsoever Adam called every living creature, that was the name thereof. And Adam gave names to all cattle, and to all fowl of the air, and to every beast of the field. But for Adam, there was not found a helpmeet for him. And Adonai Elohim caused a deep sleep to fall upon Adam, and he slept. And he took one of his ribs and closed up the flesh instead thereof. And the rib which Adonai Elohim had taken from the man made he a woman and brought her to the man. And Adam said, "This is now bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh. She shall be called woman because she was taken out of man. Therefore shall a man leave his father and his mother, and shall cleave unto his wife, and they shall be one flesh. And they were both naked, the man and his wife, and were not ashamed." From the Amplified, Genesis 2. So the heavens and the earth were completed, and all their hosts, their inhabitants. And by the seventh day, Yah completed his work in which he had done, and he rested. He ceased on the seventh day from all his work which he had done. Verse 3, so Yah blessed the seventh day and sanctified it as his own, that is, set apart as holy from other days, because in it he rested from all his work which he had created and done. Verse 4, this is the history of the origins of the heavens and earth when they were created in the day, that is, days of creation, that Adonai Elohim made the earth and the heavens. Verse 5, no shrub or plant of the field was yet in the earth, and no herb of the field had yet sprouted, for Adonai Elohim had not caused it to rain on the earth, and there was no man to cultivate the ground. But a mist, a fog, a dew, a vapor used to rise from the land and water the entire surface of the ground. Then Adonai Elohim formed, that is, created the body of man from the dust of the ground, and he breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and the man became a living being, an individual, complete in body and spirit. And Adonai Elohim planted a garden, an oasis in the east, in Eden, a land of delight, a land of happiness. And he put the man whom he had formed and created there. And in that garden, Adonai Elohim caused to grow from the ground every tree that is desirable and pleasing to the sight, and good, suitable, and pleasant for food. The tree of life was also in the midst of the garden, and the tree of the experiential knowledge or recognition of the difference between good and evil now flowed out of Eden to water the garden, and from there it divided and became four branching rivers. The first river is called Pishon. It flows around the entire land of Havilah, where there is gold. The gold of that land is good. Bdellium, a fragrant, valuable resin, and onyx stone are found there. The name of the second river is Gihon, and it flows the entire land of Cush, in Mesopotamia. The third river is called Hiddekel or Tigris. It flows eastward of Assyria, and the fourth river is the Euphrates. So Adonai Elohim took the man he had made and settled him in the Garden of Eden to cultivate and to keep it. And Adonai Elohim commanded the man, saying, "You may freely, unconditionally eat the fruit from every tree of the garden, but only the tree of the knowledge and recognition of good and evil you shall not eat. Otherwise, on the day that you eat from it, you shall most certainly die because of your disobedience." Now Adonai Elohim said, "It is not good or beneficial for the man to be alone. I will make him a helper, one who balances him, a counterpart who is suitable and complementary for him." So Adonai Elohim formed out of the ground every animal of the field and every bird and brought them to Adam to see what he would call them. And whatever the man called a living creature, that was its name. And every man and the man gave names to all the livestock and to the birds of the air and to every animal of the field. For Adam there was not found a helper that was suitable, a companion for him. So Adonai Elohim caused a deep sleep to fall upon Adam, and while he slept, he took one of his ribs and closed up the flesh at that place. And the rib which the Adonai Elohim had taken from the man, he made, fashioned, and formed into a woman, and he brought her and presented her to the man. And Adam said, "This is now bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh. She shall be called woman because she was taken out of man. For this reason, a man shall leave his mother and his father and be joined to his wife, and they shall become one flesh." And the man and his wife were both naked and were not ashamed or embarrassed. Now, reading from the New Living Translation, Genesis 2. So the creation of the heavens and the earth and everything in them was completed. On the seventh day, Yah had finished his work of creation, so he rested from all his work. Verse 3, and Yah blessed the seventh day and declared it holy, because it was the day when he rested from all his work of creation. This is the account of the creation of the heavens and the earth, when the Adonai Elohim made the earth and the heavens. Neither wild plants nor grains were growing on the earth, for the Adonai Elohim had not yet sent rain to water the earth, and there was no people to cultivate the soil. Instead, springs came up from the ground and watered all the land. When Adonai Elohim formed the man from the dust of the ground, he breathed the breath of life into the man's nostrils, and the man became a living person. Then Adonai Elohim planted a garden in Eden in the east, and there he placed the man he had made. Verse 9, the Adonai Elohim made all sorts of trees to grow, trees that were beautiful and produced delicious fruit. And in the middle of the garden, he placed the tree of life and the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. A river flowed from the land of Eden, watering the garden and dividing into four branches. The first branch is called Pishon, flowed the entire land of Havilah, where there is gold is found. The gold of that land is exceptionally pure. Aromatic resin and onyx stone are also found there. The second branch, called Gihon, flowed from the entire land of Cush. Verse 14, the third branch, called Tigris, flowed from the land of Ashur. The fourth branch is called the Euphrates. And Adonai Elohim placed the man in the Garden of Eden to tend and watch over it. But Adonai Elohim warned him, you may freely eat the fruit of every tree in the garden, except the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. If you eat that fruit, you shall surely die. Then Adonai Elohim said, it is not good for the man to be alone. I will make a helper who is just right for him. So Adonai Elohim formed from the ground all the wild animals and all the birds of the sky. He brought them to the man to see what he would call them, and the man chose the name for each one. He gave names to all livestock and all birds in the sky and all wild animals, but there still was no helper just right for him. So Adonai Elohim caused the man to fall into a deep sleep. While the man slept, Adonai Elohim took out one of the man's ribs and closed up the opening. Then Adonai Elohim made a woman from the rib and brought her to the man. At last, the man exclaimed, this one is bone from my bone and flesh from my flesh. She shall be called woman because she was taken from man. This explains why a man leaves his father and mother and is joined to his wife, and the two are united into one. Now the man and his wife were both naked, but felt no shame. This is the reading of Genesis 2. I pray that the word of the Most High blesses you and your life. May you find peace. May you find wisdom and joy. May you find focus and direction by the word and by the spirit, the Ruach HaKodesh that is breathed, hallelujah, into you to guide you and guard you in all righteousness. Have an extremely blessed day. I love you to life. Shalom.